Weird thing can you do with your body?
Well, and do this.
Oh, I can move my eyebrows up and down and my ears go up and down at the same time.
Twist my tongue the other way around.
Have you ever been arrested?
I've never been arrested, but I've been stopped by the police.
Never.
No.
I like looking at buildings, and I was walking down King's Road in London, Chelsea, and I was looking at this building, looking at the roofs and so on, and I was walking by and looking, he stopped me and said, "Excuse me, are you on anything?" They thought I was drugged because I was sort of just admired, looking at the sky, looking at the ceiling. They thought I was out of my mind. And I looked at them and I said, "I am a respectable schoolmaster." I said.
No, I haven't.
I got fined once for when I was 18 for accidentally crossing a motorway. It was like a brand new motorway, and a police car drove along just as I was about, with a couple of friends, about to cross over, and they said, "You're not allowed to do that. What's your name and address?" And I got a letter through the post to say, did I want to plead guilty by post?
I'm not 10 yet, so I can't be arrested.
Have you ever been arrested?
I have been arrested. I have been imprisoned overnight for non-violent direct action, and I'm proud of it.
What did you exactly do?
What did I do?
Yeah.
Well, we danced the circle dances and sang in the rain outside Faz Lane base.
Right.
But how did that make you arrested?
Well, you might well ask that. They said we were blocking the traffic and breach of the peace.
Did all of your other friends get arrested?
11 of us got arrested that day.
What's the most unquakely thing you've ever done?
Getting very drunk at a wedding in the Basque country.
Too unquakely to mention. Or what do you mean by quakely?
I expect he was on the football terraces shouting against the opposition that they should... Well, you can imagine.
Well, I quite like a glass of wine.
Nick biscuits from my mum's tin.
To leave a boyfriend while he was away on holiday so that you didn't know, and start going out with somebody else.
Well, thinking about this question, I'm quite often unquakely, and I find it very embarrassing, but when I get very nervous and anxious, I do tend to talk too much and listen too little, and I will just carry on talking and talking and talking, and then I'll go home and spend hours wishing that I hadn't done that.
Okay. What's the most embarrassing memory of your youth?
Well, when I was about 15, I thought it was dead smart to get a pipe. So I bought a pipe. I was only 15, and I started smoking this pipe. And I smoked it, and I remember I went to the library thinking, this is cool, with this pipe, and I turned green and I spewed up over everything. It was so disgusting. That was pretty embarrassing. It wasn't the worst thing I did, but it was the most embarrassing thing which I did. Trying to show how adult I was, not being able to cope.
Using words in too fancy a manner and telling a girl I thought she looked frigid when all I meant was cold.
Being in Belgium and sitting amongst about half a dozen adults and pretending I'd gone into some trance and was in a different state, and I was completely ignoring them talking to me. And I wasn't embarrassed at the time, but when I think back, I think that was a very embarrassing thing to do.
No, I was forgotten in going from infant school to junior school. I was left on my own and ended in floods of tears until rescued.
I really had such a difficult childhood and teenage that I think my brain just doesn't want to remember much about it.
What's the naughtiest thing you did at school?
Was to treat our maths teacher very badly. She was a very sweet and gentle little lady, and we were horrid to her. And on this particular occasion, the whole class decided that we'd change all the chairs and desks round facing the back of the class and the blackboard at the back of the class. And we thought she'd be really upset. She just walked in and started teaching at the back of the class.
Well, the only thing I can remember is that I played the drums while my friend sang, I can't remember the song, and we had to stay in for detention afterwards.
The naughtiest thing I did at school, I was awful because I was a really goody-goody. You know, I was behaved, it was awful.
Learning the violin. But in a rather particular way. I hated learning the violin. And I particularly didn't like the violin teacher. And once I was running late to a lesson, and the violin case burst open, and the violin fell on the ground and bounced 2 or 3 times. I gathered the violin up and put it back in the case, continued to run for my lesson. The teacher took out the violin to tune it and said, "Oh, this violin has been damaged. It has been dropped." And I said, "Oh, really? Oh, that's terrible. I wonder how that happened."
Oh yeah, filling up crisp packets with water because to see whether they were waterproof or not from the drinking fountain.
What about, wait, you said you were a teacher?
I was.
So
I was.
What about in that school?
As a teacher, what was the worst thing I
You're
did?
still in school, so...
Heavens above. Oh, I used to get very angry. My pupils used to have a bet. I had glasses, I wear contact lenses now, but I used to wear glasses. And what they knew is that when I was really angry, I used to take my glasses off and they used to see how long it was before they could get me so angry that I would they'd have bets about how long it would be. And I could really shout and scream. I don't think that was very nice, because that was before I became a Quaker, to say that.
Help! Go! Had! Ow! Weird pets!
Yes, I had a stuffed parrot called Betty that I kept in the office for years and looked after.
I have a red cat who loves to jump on the trampoline. Her name's Ella. If you put her on the trampoline, when you start bouncing, she'll copy you.
Only stick insects.
We had a gecko that lived in a tree. We lived in Africa for 5 years.
I had a very adventurous rat. He was quite small, and he found his way up 3 flights of stairs, climbed onto my son's bed in the middle of the night, and woke him up by waggling his whiskers next to my son's face. I don't know how he got out of his cage.
The weirdest pets that we had were a pair of lovebirds, which were very entertaining and very noisy and had huge personalities and preferred not to be in a bird cage and were always jumping off the top of the curtain.
A pet, I don't know, but when I was at junior school in the summer, friends and I would have grasshopper races on the lawn.
Just stay there.
What freaky things can you do with your body?
My glasses are right.
What's the weirdest thing? Yeah, it works. And now you can all run away.
Is that okay, yeah? Yeah.
It was perfect.
Cheers, guys. Thank you very much.